everything the Colorado Buffaloes want to achieve is still very possible.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I am your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at FanDuel. You could start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and join my group of everydayers who tune in every single day, who I appreciate so much because we have so much fun. Let's talk about it. The Colorado Buffaloes had playoff aspirations, I would say, this entire year. Whether people believe them or not, that they were possible, that's a different story. That's a different discussion for a different day. But the Colorado Buffaloes, after an early loss to Nebraska, after a rough loss to Kansas State that I think they still should have won, they went on a run. They win 4 straight by an average of almost 20 points. The offense is clicking. The defense is clicking. No one can run the ball against them. No one can stop the passing attack. And then they run into a frisky Kansas team who may be the best sub-500 team in college football right now, and they get blown out. And prior to this past Saturday, Colorado had a situation where they win out the regular season. They made it to the Big 12 title. Obviously, if they win that, they get into the playoff. Now, there's a lot of different things that have to happen, right? Colorado has to win this week against Oklahoma State, which is the obvious one. And then they also need 2 of the other top teams to lose as well. So there's a very intriguing Big 12 tiebreaker situation going on here where I think there's around 7 teams, I believe the number is, that could still make it to the Big 12 title game. And Colorado, to claim their spot, they need Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State. Doesn't matter which one. They need one of them to lose. All of them would be great, right? That would help them out immensely because they're all deadlocked at 6-2 in the Big 12 standings. But I'm here to tell you the 3 things that Colorado needs to do in order to win this game on Saturday against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, because it's a big one, right? You can't make it to the Big 12 title or the college football playoff on Friday. You can't make it there without winning this Friday, right? You can't look ahead before you finish the food on your plate. So Colorado's favored by 16 points. Oklahoma State, they went last year. They were a Big 12 title contender. They made it to the Big 12 title game, lost to Texas. Now they're a shell of their former selves, I guess. They have quarterback issues. Ollie Gordon isn't the same as he was last year. And it's just an overall different team. But that doesn't mean they're not a frisky team. In the Big 12, as we all know, anyone can lose on any given day. So these are my 3 keys, starting with number 1, contain Ollie Gordon, right? Ollie Gordon is, I would say, one of, if not the best running backs in college football. And he really has, I won't say struggled this year, but he's starting to find it. I don't know what's happened, but he had his best game of the season this past week against Texas Tech. Rushed for 156 yards, 10.4 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. And then he also had 3 catches for 30 yards. So clearly they found something. In the game before that, he was 25 for 121 and a touchdown. So clearly Ollie Gordon has found something. The Buffs need to take him out of the game, right? I think Colorado was at their best when teams were not able to run the ball and made them one-dimensional. See UCF, see Texas Tech in a way, right? Taj Brooks, I think he still put up some decent numbers, but it wasn't as dominant as I think most people were thinking it could be. Cincinnati, they kind of diminished the run a little bit. Arizona, Colorado just absolutely clamped them in every manner. So take away Ollie Gordon and then put this on the freshman quarterback, which brings me to my next point. You got to force some mistakes, right? Colorado's defense is very dependent, or has been very dependent, on big plays. Even if they don't need to force turnovers to win games, I think this is very much a energy-based unit. And so what do I mean by that? Well, and this isn't special for any team. A lot of teams do better when their energy's up. If Colorado can force an early turnover, force an early interception or fumble, I think that sets the tone for the rest of the game. And then lastly, this third and final key, it's been a key all season. It's yet to happen. I think I don't remember there being a game where I was like, oh, fantastic start, Colorado. But if you couldn't tell by my little tease there, Colorado needs to start better, right? I think that's kind of what plagued them against Kansas is They go down 17-0, and it's like, okay, do something, right? Come back, like make magic happen. And they've been doing this all season long, and it was only a matter of time before they were unable to make that magic happen. And it's truly unfortunate that it happened at probably the worst time. It happened in the worst way. I think that's the worst game Colorado's played all season, but they need to start out better. They need to start out quicker, whether that's getting the offense going, whether it's getting the passing attack going, because this Oklahoma State passing defense, not that good. Ranks as one of the worst in the country in terms of total yards given up in the air. So air that thing out, feed Travis Hunter, feed LeJontay Wester, feed Will Shepherd. I think Jimmy Horn is kind of a game time decision. At least that's the vibe I got when Coach Prime was talking about him. So just feed your playmakers and everything. Let everyone else do the rest, right? If the fastest guys on the field are making plays and making things happen, everything will be relatively easy for Colorado, I think, or at least it should be. This Colorado team has proven that they are a very high valley, low peaks kind of team. So when things are going good, they're going great. When things are going bad, it's like, it just keeps happening and happening. So in order to break that cycle, they need to start fast. They need to contain Ollie Gordon, and they need to make this a game where the young quarterback of Oklahoma State has to beat him with his arm and can't rely on the best running back in the country to do so. So this Colorado team, I think they could win this game. I think they will win this game, but it's not going to be easy. And that's how they get to their goal, right? You have to handle this business before you can even think about, who won this game, who lost this game. Handle what you need to do, and then everything else will play itself out. If it's meant to be, it'll be. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at FanDuel. And let me tell you about my sponsors over at FanDuel, because that's the best place to get in on this NFL action right now. The NFL season is in the thick of it. We got some interesting Thanksgiving games tomorrow. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Let's talk about it. North Carolina, it's a job opening. Mac Brown was fired. They showed him the door after what was his second stint at North Carolina. He was there for 6 years this time, and then he was there, I think, in the late 80s, late 90s, excuse me, not late 80s. He was there he started in late 1988, I guess he was there, until 1997, and he led that program to a lot of success, 3 10-win seasons. At one point they went 10-1, or 10-2, 10-1, or excuse me, 11. No, I was right, under him, because then he left for the Texas job and got replaced for the bowl game. So North Carolina fires Mac Brown a day after he said that he wanted to return to coaching. And obviously it's a brutal, cutthroat business. I think a lot of North Carolina fans kind of felt sad because he's obviously he's an older man, right? And they fired him. Well, now people are starting to say that Deion Sanders to North Carolina is a possibility. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think that the North Carolina job is as much of an upgrade as the people around college football are saying it is, or at least for Deion Sanders. I think Deion Sanders is a special case in the sense of he's not doing this for the money, right? I don't think he is, right? He has millions of dollars. He's perfectly fine with the earnings that he has from all his ventures, business-wise, from his career, whatever he did along the way. Deion Sanders is not light in the pockets. I can tell you that. That being said, I think a lot of people are like, oh, this job will offer him more money, right? Like this job will give him X amount of dollars. And I don't think the money's a factor. 2, is North Carolina really an upgrade over Colorado? Colorado has a chance with Deion Sanders at the helm to take over the Big 12, because I think the Big 12 is very much up for grabs. And I think this year stuff like this is going to happen every single year, where it's like, okay, it's week 14 and we have 7-8 teams that are still in contention for the Big 12 title. That's how the Big 12 has seemingly always been, or at least in some ways outside of Oklahoma dominating it, the rest of the conference was pretty close to each other. I think Coach Prime, given the time, if he revamps the roster a little bit more, gets the players that he wants even more, and gets the most out of Julian Lewis, right? I think this program can eventually take over the Big 12. North Carolina, at least in our lifetime, that has not been them, right? Dating back to 2000, they've had one 10-win season. They went 11-3 in 2015. Other than that, their best season was, I guess, 2022. They went 9-5. That's not like Deion Sanders is a win away from surpassing that. And I don't know if there's enough like resources in North Carolina to pry him away from Colorado. And I say that because obviously they have the Jordan brand, they have the Michael Jordan connection. But is North Carolina, and I say this on every show I go on, because every show I go on, people ask me, is Deion Sanders going to leave for insert job here? Is it whether it's the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the New Orleans Saints, whatever it is, Oregon or whatever, like when people thought Dan Lanning was going to leave, Texas A&M. And my question to them is, will that program, whatever it is, or will that NFL team give Deion Sanders the full autonomy that he has in Colorado? Deion Sanders can, I don't say do whatever he wants, but he has his merch. He can wear sunglasses on the sidelines. He pretty much does whatever he wants, and it's just like it's perfect for him, right? I don't think there's anyone kind of being like, hey, we don't want you to do this. I don't think there's any boosters who are in his ear like, hey, we really want this guy to play, or hey, we really think you should do this. Like Coach Prime has the keys to the program in his hands. I think both parties are benefiting greatly. And I just don't know if he wants to go to a school like North Carolina, because it's a basketball school, right? Regardless of how good you are. Like you look at Kentucky, you look at Duke this year, right? Duke's good at football. They're, I think, 8-3. I think they're either ranked or on the cusp of being ranked, with Malik Murphy at the helm. Let's see. Are they ranked? No, they're not ranked. They're 8-3. They're not ranked, and which is kind of crazy considering they've had a really strong season. And no one cares about Duke football, right? No one cares about, I won't say Arizona football, no one cares, but Arizona basketball school. Like we'll just go through the top basketball schools right now, and we'll kind of talk about, does that program care about football more than the people at Colorado do? Because the people in Boulder, I don't know if they care. And it's not just Boulder, it's fans around the country now because of Deion Sanders and all the new demographic he brings in. There's a lot of fans that are uber passionate about college football. Colorado had the most views in the Big 12 this past weekend. I think they had over 6 million viewers, right? To watch them play against a 4-6 Kansas team, which obviously Kansas happened to whoop them. But still, you would think in most years, like if Kansas was playing Iowa State, do they get those viewers? No. So there's the Kentuckys of the world, the Dukes of the world. Indiana, they're invested, right? They just went all in on a coach to show that they're invested. I look at these programs and it's like Houston, they're kind of trying to be invested, right? They're not there yet. But I just don't see why Deion Sanders would want to leave a scenario where he has everything he wants, right? He has full autonomy of how he gets to build his team. He gets to kind of have his son, Deion Sanders Jr., record all behind the scenes stuff and have private access to that. He gets to use the transfer portal however he wants, right? He gets to hire whoever he wants. He's bringing in money. He's kind of doing whatever, doing things his way. I won't say throwing traditions out the window, but he's doing things the Coach Prime way. Is that going to be available at every other school? No. And also, North Carolina has habitually been a middle of the pack ACC team, and it's not to say that Colorado hasn't. Colorado's been a middle of the pack, below the bottom of the barrel team in the Big 12 or the Pac-12, right? But things aren't changing in North Carolina anytime soon. Like you still have to play Clemson, you still have to play Florida State. There's still Miami. I don't know how often they play Notre Dame, but Notre Dame basically plays an ACC schedule, so it's an easier path. And I'm not saying that Deion Sanders wants an easier path, but I think if you were asking someone like, hey, and plus I still think Colorado's going to offer him a fat extension because they love what he does. But if you're a coach and you're deciding between a program who your program will probably never be the main priority, regardless of how good you are, you're in a conference where there's two powers that are trying to push their weight around. Clemson, Florida State, they're trying to leave the conference. They're always trying to get things catered to them. They're the reason that the conference may fall apart. And then 3, you may not get to control the program the way you want. Like Mac Brown is a North Carolina legend. He's the only college football coach in college football history to win 100 games at two programs, North Carolina and Texas. And he got fired after he said he wanted to come back. Is the leash going to be long? Are they going to give him a lot of time? Are they going to get frustrated with him if things don't go right? Or do you want to be at a program where you have full control of the roster, full control of how things are run? You could sort of, you don't have this other pressure of like, or you have all the attention you want, right? And you're in a conference where it's easily up for grabs. And so I really think that Deion Sanders, barring a crazy offer where Michael Jordan gets involved somehow, which I don't know how involved Michael Jordan is with North Carolina. The last time I saw Michael Jordan at a North Carolina event, he said the sky is the roof, or whatever he said, the sky is the ceiling, whatever that means, or what it was, something like that, where basically he was trying to say the sky is the limit, but he said it's the roof, and just a little word soup incident. But hey, it happens to the best of us. But I don't think Coach Prime leaves for North Carolina. I think it's wishful thinking, and I think people probably would like that to happen, but I don't see it happening. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the latest on Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and their bowl game activity. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow if you haven't already. My everydayers, you know who you are. Comment below, say what's up. Love every one of you. You guys give me the support that makes the show possible. Let's talk about the bowl chatter. I think a lot of people in this day and age, when it comes to projected top picks, they're like, okay, you're playing in the, I don't want to shade a bowl, so I'll just make one up. You're playing in the Kevin Borba loves Taco Bell bowl, right? And it's not a New Year's Six bowl. Should be. But it's like, okay, it's more of a pride thing. Like the team's gonna go. This is more so a game for the guys who are suiting up for the last time. This is a memories game. You get to go to Texas, or you get to go to the Bahamas, wherever this game is played. I don't know. But it's not the playoff, right? And we've really devalued every other bowl game in college football. It's what we've done. It's like, if it's not the playoff, it doesn't matter. And that's not the case. But someone asked Coach Prime if Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders were going to play in the bowl game, and they both said they were. And one, I think that's huge for the program, because one, it shows their star players are bought in. Two, I think it shows, or it gives Deion Sanders one final moment with his sons, and Shiloh Sanders included in that, right? The three of them, Travis, Shedeur, and Shiloh, gives him one more moment to coach his sons, right? And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think we don't see this often, right? We don't get to see a father coach his son. And if we do, it's usually in college basketball, and he's usually the 15th guy on the bench who comes in and the crowd's chanting for him to jack up a three when they're up 50. It's not like they're the stars of the team. So I think that's cool. And then also, I think it just is a testament to this culture at Colorado, right? Where if the two best players who are both projected top 5 picks are willing to play in the bowl game, why wouldn't I be? Right? Unless I'm leaving the team, which I think we'll see a lot of this year not with Colorado. I mean, maybe Colorado, but around college football, where we see guys leave the team before bowl games and such like that. But I think that's really big of them. I don't know if they knew that, but Coach Prime said that they were going to do that. So I thought that was really big of them, because it's one of those things where we're just in an era where everyone values money, everyone values their next move, and we sort of, like I said, devalue the bowl games if it's not the college football playoff. And really, I think it's awesome that these guys are going to play one final game together, because who knows if Shedeur will ever throw a ball to Travis again? Who knows if they'll ever be on the same team again? Who knows if Deion Sanders will ever watch his sons play together at the same time, right? Who knows if this is the last time they'll play football, right? Maybe they'll go into different careers or whatever. Like, this is just such a cool opportunity. I think everyone should be thankful for it. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, everyone should appreciate it and just tune in and enjoy the ride. I still think Colorado has a great chance of making the playoff, but if they don't, we still have a unique opportunity to watch. Coach Prime is trying to lead this Colorado program to their best record in quite some time. Like, Colorado has a chance to win 9 games, which is a big deal. They haven't done that since, I think, 2015 or 2016. And this program is not historically known for reaching these marks. And so Coach Prime has a chance to turn things around and show there's proof in the pudding, be like, hey, my methods work, and you guys doubted me. So I appreciate all you guys, as I get the hiccups, for tuning in, making me your first listen of the day. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. and save some stuffing for the rest of us. Have a great night, everyone.